Hello and welcome back to Boxing Social in association with Betfred. My name is Ayman Khan. I'm here in the Peacock Gym in London with the one and only coach Xavier Miller. Xavier, how's life treating you? Cold, I presume?
Really cold. I forgot how cold Britain is, seriously, because obviously I've been out in Portugal the last couple of years. So I've missed the winters. So yeah, it's cold. It's cold.
It's cold, but we have to make do. I can feel it in my toes, but little ray of sunshine speaking to yourself, Xavier. Xavier, first of all, let's talk about the card here. I mean, headlined obviously by Lyndon Arthur and Arthur-Yarde in a rematch, a rivalry that will hopefully be ended at the weekend. How do you see that fight going?
It's a very, very close fight. I mean, the first one was close. I really can't pick a winner in that one. I think if Yard decides to be a lot more aggressive, make a better start, I think he wins. Can't afford to let Lyndon sit back and box. He's got a fantastic jab. On domestic scene, he's got one of the best jabs around. So I'm really looking forward to that fight.
Yeah, from a coach's perspective, can you break that down a little bit for me? Because a lot of people say that Yard's kind of got to start faster, kind of put him on the back foot and kind of go for it there. From Yard's perspective first, what does Yard have to do to kind of get the victory?
Yeah, like I said, make a fast start, but use educated pressure. If he uses his jab, get himself in range, and then work downstairs and come up, and he'll find a lot of success. Lyndon, boxes kind of at his own pace, technically very good, technically sound. I've liked watching him for a long time, and that's why the fight's so fascinating. But I think, if Yard makes a few adjustments, then you come out on top here.
The biggest adjustment is obviously the jab. What can you do kind of from a technical standpoint to kind of offset that?
Yeah, at times, work off Lyndon's jab, and use your own jab. I didn't really see him using the jab in the first fight, kind of like a rangefinder. Just couldn't get in range. He needs to get in range and do damage here. So, but at the same time, Lyndon, if he does a lot of what he did in the first time, and use that right hand, not just the jab, and find a lot of success as well. So it's a fascinating fight. I'm just really happy to, see this rematch has been made, and then we can get a winner.
From actually about Yard's perspective, from an Arthur perspective, do we have to see more of the same, or can we see something different from Lyndon? I mean, obviously he had the right hander injured the first time round, but that stiff jab offset Yard and got him the victory the first time round. Is it more of the same for Lyndon to get the victory?
Yeah, it's hard to say whether the hand injury was really that much of a problem, or that he just couldn't get the right hand off. Sometimes if you're fighting a guy and you can't get your right hand off, you tend not to throw it because you might get countered. So that could be the case. Not sure. I think Yard is good at getting away from right hands, because obviously he rolls the shoulder, comes back with counters. So maybe that's why he didn't gamble too much with it. But again, that just tells you what Yard needs to do. He needs to draw leads and fire back. But listen, obviously they've got two good trainers. I'm sure they've done what they need to do, and we'll see what happens fight night.
Last time I spoke to you, you were obviously preparing your fighters for their fights. We saw Yusuf Kumasi in, unfortunately, a losing effort against Castaneda. A really good fight, though, for both fighters. I managed to catch up with Yusuf and get his perspective on the fight. But just from you, in terms of what you kind of, now that the dust has settled, obviously, on that fight, what do you think of the performance there?
Very disappointed with the decision, I have to say. We were getting ready to celebrate. Even when they called out the scorecards, I said, yeah, that sounds about right. But then it went to Castaneda. I couldn't understand it on the night. I went back, watched the fight again. He had 2 or 3 good rounds, 4 rounds at the very most. But to get a win, no way. You had good guys in and around boxing, likes of Bellew, likes of Darren Barker. They all had Yusuf winning. We all kind of scored the fight the same. So I don't know what the judges were seeing. Very, very disappointed. I was really disappointed for Yusuf because, again, this is every time Yusuf fights, he steps up against good guys, like almost like for like. He didn't get the decision. I was really, really angry, really frustrated with it. But listen, we've gone back to the gym and looking for another good fight. Another fight on that sort of level. I want Yusuf to be a world champion. You're only going to get there fighting good guys, like Castaneda. It would have been good to have that victory and move on. But we have to go again next year.
With that said, are you looking for specifically that rematch with Castaneda? I mean, Yusuf said he'll take on all comers and he's happy to just progress his career, but obviously looking for the rematch too. But is that what you kind of look forward to?
Well, if we got the decision like we were supposed to, we'd be looking to move forward. The whole point of fighting for that WBC so about was to get a world ranking. We wanted to move forward from there, so I don't see why Castaneda would come back down. But if he does, I'd definitely take that all day long. I mean, he's a very good fighter. I like Castaneda. I like the way he fights. But, Yusuf had him on the back foot. Yusuf was landing much cleaner, more effective punches. Yeah, Yusuf had a bad 8th round, but, he was a professional, got through it, came back. got through the ninth and, won the 10th round. So that's like I said, I can't understand mathematically how he didn't win that fight because he was winning all the early rounds. But yeah, if they decide to come back and they want to defend the belt, we'll take it. But, I'm more than likely they'll move forward because that's what we would have done.
Alen Babic nearly got Eric Molina out in the first round. Took a few more rounds to do it, but he did it in impressive fashion nonetheless. Molina ended up retiring after that, but Babic going from strength to strength there.
Yeah, I like Alen a lot. Obviously he's part of Dillian's team. He's part of Team Whyte. Dillian manages him. I've seen him spar a lot of rounds. Fantastic guy, in and out of the ring. He's exciting to watch, and he's just going to keep getting better. Right now, I think now he needs a really, really stiff test. Can't really call any names right now because I don't manage him. It's up to his management team. But I like to see him step up and fight someone who's going to give him a stiff test, take him a few rounds. Like a good 8, 9, 10 rounds would be good for him, and then move on from there. But massive fan of Alen.
You mentioned Dillian Whyte there. Obviously, the kind of biggest news with Dillian is the WBC didn't order the Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte fight, which must be, from your perspective, Dillian Whyte's perspective as well, not what you're looking for. I know obviously arbitration is rumbling on in the background too. We spoke to Dean earlier in the week as well about that. But from your perspective, hearing that WBC didn't order that must be really kind of frustrating.
It is, especially for Dillian, but this has been going on for a long, long time, with the WBC. So hopefully, things get sorted out and we get to challenge for that world title, which is what I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, the legal stuff I can't touch on right now, but yeah, that's the fight we want next.
In terms of that fight, if we do get to see it, how do you think kind of Dillian and Tyson Fury do match up?
Very well. The styles will gel well, especially with this version of Tyson Fury. He seems to be obsessed with trying to knock guys out, so good. Bring it on. That's the fight I want to see.
Xavier, let's see you there. Thank you so much for speaking to Boxing Social. Much appreciated. We'll speak to you soon.